metric support?
I think it might be nice. Um, I think I'm maybe we don't put it in right now. Maybe we see how the scores flow and then make that decision.
Do you see this being added to the overall course design scorecard?
That's a really good question. Actually, there was some really good questions from Nancy along the same lines. So she's like, first off, nowhere in the plan was there a way of approving these scorecards or how they were going to be used. So I think we're going to take that issue up with the implementation committee and to begin thinking through that piece of it, because all the plan said is to develop scorecards and begin to develop data. So what does that mean, and what is the approval process?
Yeah, I noticed there was another group that one of my colleagues is on, and they were saying that Quality Matters is one of the rubrics that is already pre-approved for the course delivery side. So I'm kind of curious as to how these will all integrate into each other to provide a final presentation or a final report on courses and the quality control.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'll be interesting to see how we plan it out, and it's an issue I will definitely bring up on when we meet. I think we're meeting Friday, so I can bring that up as something that our group would like to address.
Hi, it's Kendall. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Hey there. There's also the OLC scorecard. I don't know if that's already been discussed or not, but that's also something. I mean, the Quality Matters really looks at the design, and when it comes to actually implementing courses, obviously that's a an area that not everybody wants to go down because of academic freedom and whatnot. But I know OLC does have their scorecard as well, if that hasn't been looked at already.
Yes, we did remember. Well, maybe you don't remember. We that was some of our first conversations. Is do we just adopt the LOC scorecard? And what we found is it was too broad, and it was. Remember, it's supposed to be, I think, more of a program evaluation piece. Um, and I think we're still struggling because I think LOC is trying to put together this one, and I guess they're doing. I'm trying to remember if it's them or QM. I think QM's also trying to do a program evaluation piece.
I heard that, yeah.
And we pulled them both up, and LOC it turned into such an expensive proposition that we backed out. So it became, I think it's like $10,000 for each application that you put in, and you could do an institution-wide one, but then we were concerned that each program's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really turned into $10,000 for each program, which for us ended up that's close to $100,000. So it was like, well, that's kind of out of our reach. And the Quality Matters one, I just I felt like it still needs a lot of work and refining before I would really want to participate in it. It's just too broad, and um, it was almost like, well, show us all your stuff and then we'll make a decision, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So um, that's kind of where we stand on those things at this point. So I'm going to definitely make sure I bring up to the committee how this is for them to look into how this is going to help everyone, or how we're going to pull all this together. And then I'm just writing this down so I can remember it. All right, so um, and then I'm going to also make a note. We want to put together an overall score, but we want to see how the card scores out first. Okay. All right. So when I looked at the different models for these guidebooks, one of the things they did is they put the actual quality indicators, and they provided description for that category and best practices. Now, we were trying to tie this with work that Josh had done, trying to tie it to the SAC COO SAC standards. One of the things I noticed is that when I started trying to apply that, pretty much Saks was not very specific about the services, and I ended up really repeating the same one over and over into each category. So I'd like for you to take a look at that yourself and see what you think. If it's redundant, is it necessary? Maybe we don't want to put it in this document, but I thought at least with us having it there, we can see it and make those, kind of work, at least that way we can be thinking about that and what does that look like. What I also noticed is they occasionally referred to other scoring cards or other groups that were making making reference more like a way of validating their work. So I added the online consortium criteria, and as well, again, I kind of felt it was redundant and not, which is what we found was it wasn't specific enough. But again, let's take a look at that. We don't have to make a decision today, but I really wanted you to take a look at that and see what you thought, if that should be included or not. I talked with EAB, and EAB has the draft of this particular document, and they made it a research proposal for them. They're very excited about it. They're going to comb through their library, and they're going to add best practices to each of these sections on our behalf. So, but it's going to take them about 6 to 8 weeks to do that. So we'll make our deadline, but and we don't know which categories and what they're going to find information on all the different categories or not. So, anyway, I thought that's one approach, and I definitely think we can add that. The other thing I would like to suggest is that maybe to break up the work on this particular document, if we could volunteer to take a section and write a description and maybe come up, do a little research on some best practices to add so it's not just the EAB stuff for each of the sections. And would you be willing to help us with that? So we kind of divide and conquer.
Sure, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, good. That's a relief. So what we'll do is I'll put together another one of those maybe Qualtrics or something where we'll email it out, and maybe you can sign up for different sections. Would that work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I may have missed it. Did you say that what the deadline, what the time frame was for something like this?
Well, that's a good point because remember we have to present the scorecard and our best practices. That's the other thing I like about this approach because the best practices will be attached to the scorecard. And it really lets us just do one project instead of two.
Yeah, so we would just duplicate it out of this guide, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're supposed to present that to the I'm trying to remember, it's the steering committee on the December 16th. I'm sorry, December 2016. So we have to have all of this ready to go. And they actually wanted us to begin collection on the data on the scorecard before that. So that means we have to send out the scorecard almost in October, right? Because who wants to get caught up in November with Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think October is a good time frame because you're past the busyness of the beginning of the semester. It's before the holiday sweep, so I think that's a good time frame.
Okay, so that means we need to have all of this ready to go before October 1st. Actually, I need it approved by the implementation committee in September. So we're starting to cut this really close.
Okay, we'll set a deadline
So
and we'll do it.
let's say we do this. What do you think? 2 weeks or a month? Let's give us a month because we still have to send out the survey. So let's say we have this done by let's say August 31st, so that we can pull the whole entire document together by September 7th.
Okay, Vicki, let me go back to your earlier reference to including the external standards.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of decluttering for the reader,
Yes.
but I think those are valuable references. I suggest to put them in as an appendix.
Okay.
Instead of as part of the body of what the guide is.
Okay. Okay. That works. That's a good suggestion.
That way we can supplement, we can change, and it's not such a critical. It's
right.
an integrated component.
And I'm trying to, OLC publishes these standards on their website for everyone to see. So I think just citing them would be enough. And the same with the SACS standards. Those are on the website, published for everybody to see. So as long as we cite them, I think we'll be good.
Well, okay. That would be sufficient too.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to reach out and say, by the way, we're referencing your, I don't know what. I'm going to talk real quick with the library people and see what they think. But
it's just sort of a literature review.
Yeah, and
what's already been done in this area.
Right. So I think if we do that, and then we'll pull everything together by September 7th, and then we'll share I'll check on the dates to see when we can share this with the implementation committee when they're intending to meet. And I'll send all those dates and deadlines out to you, so that way we have it. We're all on the same page. Okay. Do you have any other thoughts about the guidebook or anything you'd like to see in it that I didn't put in or that we should think about putting in? This will also be the place where we're going to house Josh's full rubric descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we get going and after this section, this introduction section and the background section, I'll probably discuss our process that we use to approve all of this. how we developed it. Okay. Oh, that's good. So let me stop presenting that. All right. I don't know. Before I pushed it out, I think to the PBWorks, I need to put draft on it and do some of that kind of stuff. And please remember, this is all internal. We're just having this discussion. I don't feel like it's ready to share outside of us yet. Okay. Okay, Franz, can you share the results of the survey questions? Did we lose Franz? Yeah, he said hello earlier, so I always find it hard to find my screen back. Franz? Hello? Oh, he dropped out for some reason. Oh no, there he is. He is muted. Franz, you're muted. Okay. I don't think I can. Yeah, this isn't it's not like using one of our, let me see, I think from what I saw, the email that Franz sent me is that both of the questions were approved. So I'm going to go ahead and take those questions and send them to FLDC. To add to their monthly survey. So I think that's it for that. I shared with you about the EAB. Now, have you been working on the technical paper, Gladys? The white paper?
No.
No? Okay.
Because we're still waiting to get information
okay.
From class.
Right. So we're still, I think we're kind of on hold with the white paper. We're waiting for Francetta. She said her group was pulling together some data on the technical challenges. We reached out to our help people here, and they're also gathering. They're looking through their reports to determine what the technical challenges they have fielded in their conversations with students. So until we get that data and the questions, our survey question data, I don't know that there's a whole lot we can add. We did come across the document published by Canvas about what items you can do, what kind of task you can do on the mobile app and which ones you cannot. So that section was added. And we're still doing some lit review to determine what's out there about libraries and access to libraries. And I'm trying to think what was the other, there's one more. Oh, other challenges overall challenges that students may experience with the admissions process and things. So we're still like gathering data, so nothing's really been added to the white paper at this point. Does anybody have any suggestions as you read through it that you think we should add or be looking into? We're all okay with it? Yay. Yes. This is where I miscollaborate because we can all do thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring up for the good of the committee?
Yes. One question.
Okay.
Does anybody know the best way to get a hold of the Florida Economic Development Office?
Poor Franz.
No. Have you reached out to those three gentlemen? I think there were three different authors of that draft or that plan. You're not able to reach any of them?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Poor Franz. He's been trying so hard.
Wait a second. Actually, you know what? I think her name is Becky Rust. She's in Tallahassee, and she was tied to some of the work that we did, I think it was about a year ago, with the Board of Governors. I know Paul O'Brien was sitting on one of the groups. He's the CFO or CIO at my institution, and she was part of the Economic Development Council. I believe Nancy McKee was working with her pretty closely. Becky Rust was her name, I believe. So she might be another venue to try to at least get to the right person that you need.
Is it Rust? R-U-S-S?
I think it's R-U-S-T, like a rusty nail, but yep, there she is, Becky Rust, R-U-S-T, and she's the chief economist at the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity.
Okay.
So she was, again, I don't know her personally, but she was one of the representatives for that area on some work groups that were created about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And Nancy McKee might be able to give you a direct point of contact to her. I'm not sure, but I do remember her. So she might be a way to get to who you need.
Okay.
Yeah, we have tried. Franz is just sat on the phone nonstop trying to call them, and they don't seem to pick up the phone. He's tried emails. He's tried just about everything. He's put a gallant effort in trying to reach these. So hopefully, we'll try this. We'll try this route and see what happens.
Good. Yeah. Hopefully she'll be of help.
And then it sounds like maybe I'm gonna have. I think that's a good suggestion also to reach out to Nancy McKee if she was also on that committee. Maybe just seeing her name that might help. So let me see if Nancy could also bridge. We'll work on both angles and see what we can do. Thank you for remembering that, Franz. I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anybody else has something for the good of the community? Okay. Well, thank you for giving us a little bit of time here on Wednesday morning. And hopefully things will go forward. I do want to give you one update. I did talk with Dr. Welch yesterday, and he is going to get some best practices from his group, Insight something. I have the note somewhere that they're using for their frontline enrollment processes. So hopefully we'll get. I'm hoping that sounds like it would be a good thing to add to our white paper as best practices there, or recommendations in that paper. So I think it is coming together. Right now it feels a little slow just because we're having to gather information. But I think once the information's here, it'll come together real quick. All right, thank you again for your time, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, we'll look for your timeline and invitation to pick up writing assignments.
Okay. All right, thank you. Have a great week.
You.
All right.
You too.
All right. Bye.